Hello YouTube fans, this is TheSkullKlown. I'm here to do a video on... Okay, yeah, it was off. But I'm here to do a video. Basically, I want to say review, but lately, every time I say review, I really don't talk about the movie all that much. I just give my thoughts and my opinions on it, really. You could say that is a review-ish, but I'm just gonna say thoughts and my opinions anyways. So, I just recently watched Pinocchio, the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio movie. This movie, man. If you haven't seen it, watch it on Netflix, man. Watch this movie on Netflix. Watch this movie. I wish I watched this movie in theaters, but I didn't know when it came out during the time in theaters, so I didn't watch it. But I should have though. This movie's really good. This movie's really good, and it's really heartwarming. It really is. And the shit that they talk about in this movie is wow. Like I'll say this: I have the original Pinocchio book. Alright, I know about the Pinocchio book. Alright, and the book is really fucking grim and really, really dark. It has a happy ending, but the original ending was not like that. They were going to kill off Pinocchio. Alright, because it was actually showing that hey, the more fucked up shit you were doing, you're gonna end up dead, basically. Because if you're a dick, if you're an asshole, if you're not being alright, if you're not being trying to be good and shit, you know. Well, obviously the editor, we all know the story with that with Pinocchio and shit. The editor was like, not the editor, but I think it was the editor, right, for the guy that made the book for Pinocchio. He literally was telling him, dude, like, this shit is like too grim. Like, I get you want to teach kids lessons, but can we have like an ending to this shit? A good one that he lives. It's like fine, he'll live, but he's gonna keep getting more fucked up. I don't give a fuck. And to be honest, guys, a lot of people gotta sit down and realize that if Pinocchio goes through a lot of hardships in his journey, every movie you show, that should be a good thing. Because that's how it was in the book, and that's how the author really wanted to be anyways originally. Right? So Pinocchio goes through hardships, but he's actually thinking in his head like, huh? Either he's thinking of two ways. Either he's thinking of like maybe I shouldn't do this and be persuaded by, or being like, oh, that sounds like fun, let's do it. And not know it because that's Pinocchio. Some people like that Pinocchio, the one that really doesn't understand shit and all that stuff. To be honest, the Pinocchio that they interpret in the Disney version, to be quite honest, the live action one, a lot of people don't like that version. I understand. I really understand how you guys feel about it. But I like that Pinocchio for one reason only. He's literally like, yeah, but I don't trust you though. That shit right there, I like. I fucking like. I do. And if you hate that shit, something's wrong with you. I'm saying that right now. Because any child would say that too. If a child doesn't trust an adult, of course they're going to say that shit out loud. They'll kid. The hell's wrong with you? Seriously. Now, if the child's scared, they probably won't say shit. But if they have balls, they will say shit. They don't give a shit. Kids don't give a shit. You guys don't know how you were as a kid? If you guys don't remember how you were a kid, then I don't know how you guys were, because technically all of us were Pinocchios when we were little kids. To be honest, all of us were Pinocchios when we were little kids, and don't say we weren't. We were. Okay, seriously. In a way, but I'm not going into that. But moving on. This movie is fucking phenomenal. I think there's some. I saw from the credits that there's some things from Jim Henson. I saw some puppetry in here. Is there some puppets in here? I could be gone. I know there's some stop motion animation, some CGI, and I have some note. And I'm just getting tongue tied here. I'm sorry. I have noticed that there's some stop motion characters that are CGI. I don't know if I'm wrong about that, but there's some stop motion characters that look kind of off, that look more off putting than the normal CG. I mean, than the normal stop motion characters, because the stop motion characters look great, but then you have some stop motion characters that look like they're CGI stop motion, and it looks kind of like Like I get what, like, if the movie's going for different types of art styles, which technically you're not wrong. You all kind of see that in that movie, but when it comes to stuff like that with the characters, it's like kind of off putting real quick. It's like, oh, that came out of nowhere. Um, okay. Um, okay. Okay, now you're just doing that. It's like it's almost like they decided to look. It's like, sorry, I'm getting tongue tied here. It's almost like they saw Gunball, the that show Gunball, and they're like, yeah, we can do that. you know. And I'm not talking about the things that Pinocchio sees, like when he dies and stuff like that, and gets reincarnated again. Yo, that shit is awesome. To be quite honest, it really is. And I don't want to even talk about the stuff about the whole wall type stuff, because that shit is good on its own, and that could be a whole video on its own. It's literally that good, guys. It's really that good. Is it better than the live action Disney version? Of course it is. But to me, I'm looking at the Pinocchio separate from the Disney version from that one, basically. Like the live action Disney Pinocchio version, I'm taking him out from his movie separately so I can analyze him, because he's actually not bad. He really isn't. But a lot of people hate him because he's surrounded of a movie that's actually not good. It really isn't. That's just how I feel with the live action Disney movie. It's not where I'll watch it again. To be honest, I was thinking about it watching it again. To be quite honest with you, and the original. I don't know. That's just me. I'm just But there is different versions of Pinocchio. To be honest, hold on. All right. Sorry, I praised this movie already. But what's the story about? The story is about, basically, it's almost like the Disney live action version. The only difference is it's a little different. It's more darker, which makes sense because the original Pinocchio was very dark. It really is. And I'm not talking about the original Disney version, the book version. The book is very dark. Very. Um Again, going back, Pinocchio was originally gonna die. But Geppetto has a son. Okay, I want to say this right now. I know I'm 7 minutes in, but I want to say this right now. If you haven't watched this movie, go watch it now. All right, so I'm going to continue on right now. 3, 2, 1, go. Geppetto's son dies in this movie. Now, not like in the Disney version. It's kind of funny that that happened. Is it a coincidence? No, it's not. It's not like a fucking coincidence. And don't tell me, oh yeah, it is a coincidence. No, it's not. If you think it is, then you're stupid. These are all businessmen in Hollywood, and you don't think they're sitting around a table planning what shit they can make next? It's a competition. Same thing with ants and Bugs Life. Come on, guys. You guys need to think here. Stop being retarded. Stop being stupid. That's why I can't stand people. When they put shit on screen on for when they put things on screen for your entertainment multiple times, and you're wondering why are they doing this multiple times, then oh, now you're questioning it, but you're never questioning it when you watched it multiple times. Go like, can't fucking stand people when they like that, man, because that's idiotic. You're looking at something over and over and over again, and you're being like, It's idiotic. It really is. It's almost like you tripping over and not learning why you're tripping over. God, that's the problem I have with people. God, when I talk about some of these movies, and these movies are really good. All right, so Geppetto sons dies from a bomb that they're making. They're making like a little church type thing. They're making like, baby Jesus. No, I don't have to go criticize with the religion shit because I think it's hilarious. But it is nice that what they do with this movie in here. It's hilarious. Um, it's hilarious. It's in this movie, but it's nice that they woven it. They woven it in nicely in this movie the way that they did it, and it is crazy how Geppetto's son dies here. You know, and they talk about how death here is really crazy. Death in this movie is really has a consequence. Death in this movie has a consequence, and so does being immortal. Okay, so there's a lot of great things in this movie, man. you can't. There is some music numbers in this movie, but um, it's it's crazy. This movie's outright fucking ape shit sometimes, man. Cause look, you feel sorry for Geppetto. You do. You feel sorry for him. You know, his son is dead and everything like that. He's basically a drunk at this point. You know, and all of a sudden he's right next to a tree, you know, looking at his son's fucking grave. It's literally screaming out, "Why you haven't answered my prayers, son?" Which I'm just like dying my ass off because in a spiritual enlightenment way, I'm just looking at that and I'm like, I know the reason why, you dumb mother piece of fucking shit, but I'm not getting there. Yo, seriously. He literally grabs an axe, chops that fucking tree down like a fucking psychopath. Ka, ka, ka. Jimmy the Cricket is in the tree. He's like, shit! Yo, I'm telling you, this movie, man, this movie is crazy. It is made by obviously Guillermo del Toro, and I love his movies. At least the movies that I watched, I loved. I literally have. Like, I think his movies, to be honest, you know how people complain about how modern movies are nowadays? I look at his movies and I'm like, this is what movies should be now. Now. And they're not. Another reason why I have a problem with Hollywood. You have people like Guillermo del Toro that are making movies like this, and all of your Hollywood executives are not taking advantage of shit like that. Everyone in Hollywood should be making movies like this right now. I am dead serious. There should be already be making shit like that already, but we don't. And I'm talking about like, look, I know some people might be like, oh yeah, I know remakes and these superhero movies. To be honest, they could take like I say, take advantage of what Guillermo del Toro has done. Basically, I'm not saying copy him, but take advantage of it. And people have, some people have, but others haven't. And look at the situation we are with a lot of shit with movies and video games also. But moving on with that, I, I'm not saying everything he touches fine wine. I'm not saying that, but everything he does touch, I'm saying that at least everyone watches, everyone sees it. That's more than what I can say for anything. Um, that's more than what I can say for anyone that is paying attention to Marvel and DC right now. To be quite honest with you, you know. But I don't want to talk about everything about this movie because Pinocchio alone, the character, is fucking phenomenal in this movie. He's great. Pinocchio is great. And the fact that certain things happen to him in this movie that I'm just like, oh, literally, there's a scene in the movie that I had to look at on the time, not because I was bored. I had to look at the time for the movie because I literally told myself it should be ending by now. But no, we had 40 minutes. We had 44 minutes left, and I'm like, oh, okay. What more you have to say? You had a lot to say. And to be honest, I'm glad that you took that time. You know, I'm actually glad that oh, something happened here. Sorry, but I'm actually glad that the movie took that movie took that advantage of its time thing. I'm glad that that happened. So anything else I could talk about? Because my laptop is getting fucked up here, and I wanna charge it here. But anything else I could talk about? Monstro in this movie is dope. He literally like he is a sea creature, guys. A lot of people seem to forget about that. Oh, why is Monstro a sea monster? Because he is. Did you read the book? But in the book, he looks like a shark. To be quite honest with you. But yeah, he's supposed to be a sea monster, not a whale. The fuck you thought? But the whale's iconic. Yeah, and and you know, there's a reason why they use the whale. I hope you guys know that. But you guys are never going to figure that out. You guys want to complain to certain things, but you guys would never think of, oh, whatever, man. I need a T-shirt dealing with stupid, and then it has a YouTube logo on it. Literally, literally, man. Ugh. shit. So after that fiasco, but that is hilarious. But I don't know. I just thought that was hilarious. And sometimes it's just like, what the fuck, people. But moving on. Moving on. Hey, look, 33. All right. So the chemistry between Geppetto and Pinocchio in this movie is great. When Geppetto sees Pinocchio, he freaks the fuck out. It's funny. It's funny. I look at versions of Pinocchio and I'm like, oh, Geppetto should freak out here. And then he doesn't. And then in moments that I don't want him to freak out, he freaks out. What the fuck? Same thing with this movie. I'm all like, oh, he's not gonna freak out. Ah! You're not my son! Ah! I thought, look, at this moment, I thought he was gonna chop up his son with that fucking axe. I thought they were gonna go, like, all out at this point. The whole horror shit and everything like that. So, it's crazy how Geppetto's son dies, and you think in a way that Geppetto's son's soul will be transferred into Pinocchio in a way, but no, that does not happen. And I feel like there's other versions that do that too, not just the Disney versions and the Guillermo del Toro versions. I think there's other versions that also does the whole, you know, Geppetto has a son that dies and then makes another boy, or that boy is Geppetto's son, or some shit like that. Is that a thing, or is that just new? Because for some reason I feel like that is not new. I feel like I've seen that countless times, but also I keep thinking that that's new too. I don't know. I don't know. But the fairy, the fairies that we got in this movie, to be quite honest, the afterlife creatures, and then they have the fucking undertakers, the undertakers from the book that are all black and everything like that. They look awesome here. They look awesome. I love their design. They're fucking a black rabbit. Then they'll fucking have skeleton fingers and everything like that. They're all bones basically underneath here, and then just their head has the fucking rabbit. Oh, it's just awesome. Basically, all of this is skeleton, and this is just flesh over. Oh, I fucking love it. It's amazing. And they have the Pinocchio's casket and everything like that. And they walk taking him back and everything like that. And they're like, huh, you hear something? No. Yo, we need a whole show about these guys. No, come on, Netflix. I want a whole series about these guys. Put Jiminy Cricket in there too. I want a whole series about these guys. I really do. That's how much I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them that much. And apparently the movie did too, because we see them all. We did, you know? So I love that. I really do. The villain that kidnaps Pinocchio, basically, or technically, not, well, you could say kidnap, but basically attempt, bribes him into fame and fortune, basically. And he's not a bad character. He's not. He has like a little monkey, and you don't see a backstory with the monkey, but you can kind of see the relationship between them, and you kind of get what the relationship was kind of like and everything like that. They even kind of mention it in the end too, and the main villain gets fucked up. They even show it. They even show how he got fucked up, and I'm like, oh, they showed that shit. When the monkey and him are falling, and then the monkey goes to the water, and all of a sudden, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, oh my god. That shit was wild, man. That shit was wild. Wild, 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 man. I am telling you. Geppetto was trying to look for Pinocchio and shit like that. I'm going everywhere here. I'm sorry. But that's just the way it is, man. That's just the way it is. So, Geppetto's looking for Pinocchio, and every time he gets closer to finding him, he doesn't. Which is kind of like damn. And then he finally finds Pinocchio. They embrace and everything like that. And you know how sometimes Pinocchio dies, and then Geppetto's like, oh, mourning and shit like that. And basically, this did a lot of consequences. Basically, when they got out of Monstro, basically, when they got out of Monstro's body, Pinocchio died again. He died several times in this movie, and that's the whole thing with the reincarnates of life and death is really great here. And what happened is that Geppetto, where is it? No, Pinocchio dies. He goes back to the afterlife, and he talks to one of the ladies. The lady that I don't want to spoil what she looks like because she looks great. The fairy that brings her to life looks like a naga. Basically, she looks like a seraphim. That's what she looks like. When I saw that design, I'm like, yo, she's a seraphim, a naga. Yo, she looks great and kind of hot. But moving on. So when that happens, um, Pinocchio's like, "Yo, I gotta go back. I gotta go back. I gotta go back. I gotta go back." And then she's like, "You can't go back. The time limit and shit like that. You gotta obey. You gotta obey orders and shit like that." And Pinocchio's like, "I don't care. I have to." Pinocchio in this movie really thinks for himself, to be quite honest, and that's a good thing, to be quite honest. Because look, we have got some Pinocchio movies that made Pinocchio stupid. And I'm not talking about the Disney version that just came out. They didn't make Pinocchio stupid in that one. If you thought so, no, he wasn't. Are you serious? When there literally is a line in the movie, literally him saying, "Yeah, that sounds fun, but I don't trust you." Come on, man. Come on. Again, the movie that he's in is not good, but him himself is not bad. He's just put in a situation that is shit. That's why I look at the live action Disney version of Pinocchio and I'm like, damn, dude, they did you dirty. They smacked you in the face. You need to be in a better movie. Because you right here is fine. The movie that you're surrounded in, is not. It could be a little bit better. It's not as bad as people pointing out to be, but it's what broke the camera's back for a lot of people. And you know what? It should have done that a long time ago with Aladdin and The Lion King, you dumb motherfuckers. So fuck you. Fuck you. No, seriously. What broke the camel's back for you was fucking Pinocchio? Man, go fuck yourself. But Lion King and Aladdin did it? Man, go suck a dick. Seriously. All those people that enjoy those live action versions and look at Pinocchio and they're like, oh, fuck you, man, then fuck you. Seriously. Seriously. And then you look at Peter, then fuck you. Seriously. That's why I'm glad that this movie was fucking goddamn made, to be quite honest with you. The Guillermo del Toro version and this Disney version, to be quite honest with you. And then there's another Pinocchio version that came out this year that's actually pretty bad, but it's so bad that it's actually good. I don't know what's it called, but it's so fucking bad shit bad. It's so bad. I've seen reviews about it, but it's a CGI it's a CGI animated Pinocchio movie, but it's so bad that it's so funny. It's just so fucking hilarious, and I believe it's worth seeing, and I haven't even seen it yet. But moving on. This movie, continuing on. So, Pinocchio comes back. He breaks the rules basically of the time, but the only consequence is that he's immortal at that point. So there it is. He's immortal. So when he comes back, he's literally missing a leg and an arm. He's literally fucked up in the face and everything. He's not back all normal and everything. No, he's fucked up. And Geppetto's drowning and shit like that. And he's trying to help him. And you think that he's not gonna make it and shit like that. Geppetto is on the surface. So is the monkey and Jiminy. They're there. And what is it? And Geppetto wakes up and Geppetto's like, "Where's Pinocchio?" And Pinocchio's literally right there on a carcass, just dead. And Geppetto is crying like crazy, holding him and everything like that, crying, crying, crying. The crying scenes with Geppetto, yo, I'm saying, I am saying right now, guys, this movie deserves the credit that it deserves. This movie is good. This movie's fucking good. This movie's not as musical. It has some music moments, and some of the music moments are not bad. And there is a moment, there is a song tune that pays homage to I Have No Strings, but it's with gum. Have you noticed that? If you didn't notice that, there it is. But if you have and you're like, huh, come to think of it, there was that. So, but this movie was a ride. But continuing on more, Jiminy Cricket makes a wish, maybe because since all this time he's um since he's been spending time with Pinocchio, Pinocchio has been basically becoming his own person, you know, because what is it? Because that was kind of like the thing that the fairy was granted with, because obviously Jimmy was like, "This is my home. Why are you trying to make my home alive?" Yo, that shit's hilarious. And the fairy's like, "Maybe you can help me," in the beginning of the movie and shit like that. The Seraphim fairy, yo man, it's just great. That shit's just oozing with greatness in that scene. I love that scene because every scene, to be honest, the most iconic scenes, in my opinion, is when Pinocchio becomes alive. When you have Jiminy Cricket and the fairy, um, Monstro, and when let's see, what's the other one? When he goes to um, Pleasure Island or Treasure Island, whatever it's called, but we don't have it in this version. But still, it doesn't matter. We go to a place that's wall that's almost kind of similar, to be honest. It's not that far fetched of it. So I will talk about that one soon. The reason I'm talking about the ending there is because I want to talk about the whole war scene, the when Pinocchio goes to a concentration camp to learn to fight in war. You know what? Let's talk about that for a minute, to be honest, before I do talk about the ending, to be quite honest, because I feel like I would ruin the ending if I didn't talk about this first. This was great. This was fucking phenomenal. At first, I thought it was going to go for a little too long, but then it hit the right beats. It hit the right numbers, in my opinion. Um, I like how the moment when the kid, um, in the beginning of the movie, is like, the guy basically. There's a character in this movie that looks at Pinocchio and he is like, "Oh, you're indestructible. You always come back. We should put you to war for my carbon people that watch this movie. You will understand and overstand." When I saw that part, I'm all like, "I know what you guys. Come on, man. I am Groot. Carbon people are Groot. I'm saying that right now. All right. And the people that don't understand and overstand it, I'm not even going to try to attempt to try to talk to you about it. Because if you don't know, you don't know. That's fine. Moving on. Move on. Move on with your naive life. So, but it's just what it is. What it is. It is what it is. Don't get offended. Move on. Just move on with your fucking life and be happy. But for now. So this whole scene, you have this character that wants to put Pinocchio in war, right? He has a son. That at first he's a dick, right? But then you come to like him a bit because he starts taking out Pinocchio and shit like that, right? And then he goes to the concentration camp, basically. Should I even say a concentration camp? No, he basically going to boot camp. Basically going to boot camp to learn how to fucking go to war, sending his own son there, because he think he's weak and shit like that. Yeah, we get that, and it's like, holy crap, man, that's just damn. I'm telling you, man, this movie hits the notes. It hits the right numbers. I'm telling you, man. It literally does, man. I'm like, oh man, jeez, just does it well. It does it really well, man. And when they're, you know, sleeping and they're talking to each other, they're like, oh yeah, I'm not scared of war. Yeah, I'm not scared of war either. In fact, I embrace it. I love it. Shit like that. And I'm just like, these kids, man, these kids are literally about to go to fucking war. And the 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 the, the guy that sent his own kid to a fucking boot camp facility, yeah, area for him to be trained to go to war is literally tearing up in his own fucking bed crying. I'm telling you guys, the tear scenes in this movie is great. It's great. It's great. And you feel it. You feel it and you feel it and you just want to hug the characters, man. You feel it and you just want to hug the characters. And you want to hug the characters and you want them to get out of that situation. You know? And then all of a sudden, um, and then the next day, they start training for war. They use paintball guns and grenades that are confetti and shit like that. That's kind of I like how they did that. Little nice touch. So they all shooting each other, pa 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 pa, and then they are paying basically capture the flag basically. But Pinocchio and this and his friend that he meets, they both like fighting for the flag, and then they're like looking at each other and laughing at each other, saying, basically fighting for something that's kind of stupid, and you're right. So they put the flag up together, and they walked away, and like we won basically. And yo, man, this motherfucker doesn't take a break. This character that I talked about that is obsessed with putting Pinocchio on war, he looks at his son. He's like, "Oh, yeah, you won. Really? Who won? Who won? Really?" Grabs a gun, shoot the puppet. And I'm like, what? Shoot the fucking puppet. He doesn't say that. But I'm like, shit. And he's like, but dad, that's a real gun. And then all of a sudden explosions happen and everything like that. There's a real war that's happening around them right now. And I'm like, holy fucking crap. God knows what happens to them, to be quite honest with you. In a way that is kind of winking to the original Pinocchio of like at least the Disney version of when they go to Pleasure Island what is Pleasure Island? What I think that's what's it called? Jesus, I don't even want to call it that because oh god. And when they turn into donkeys and shit like that, you don't see them turn into donkeys in this one at all, obviously. But there's something there that they show that's even more fucked up. You know? And most people be like, what's the donkey really in the window for? Really? Do you really want to know? Do you really want to know what's the donkey in the window for Pinocchio? You don't want to know. If you tell me that, I would tell you and you'd be like, that's disgusting. That it's not it. I'm like, it is it. And you don't want to admit it. That's why I haven't told you. And by me just saying disgusting, I think you guys should know what the innuendo is of the kids turning into donkeys in Pinocchio. Just saying. Just saying. Literally, just saying. They go to a place called Pleasure Island and they're kids. Come on, guys. Come on. Don't be stupid. Please don't be stupid. Don't be like that. This one again is Dog 2. This one is like literally sending kids, little babies to war. This is it. This one's it right here. This one's fucked up also. They're both fucked up scenarios. One is freaking sex trafficking, and the other one is fucking sending kids to war in a young age getting fucking traumatized to death. Which one's worse? Pick your poison, motherfucker. You have no choice. Because these adults are fucking assholes. Seriously. Do I have to get on a tangent with that? I don't think we have to. I'll seriously hope someone on YouTube analyzes these two movies, this movie and the Pinocchio movie, the original Disney version, and then this one, the Guillermo del Toro version. I hope people analyze the 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 prison scene. I mean the prison scene, the war scene with the kids, and then the whole Pleasure Island scene with the kids also, and analyze both of them and see how fucked up they really are, and see how fucked up they really are just because of the adults that are surrounded by that situation and making it happen. Okay? I'm not gonna spoil what happens to the father. I'm not. You're just gonna have to watch the movie on your own. But the movie, I guarantee you, he does get his comeuppance, and it's great. It is, and it's just, it is crazy what happens in this movie. It does. It is, and it does. This movie does have the heart and soul and the blood of Pinocchio. It does. It does. It really does. It knows what it is. It knows exactly what it is. So going back to the ending, Jiminy Cricket wishes Pinocchio back to life. He comes back to life, but there's a consequence to that too. Now Pinocchio lives forever. You see Geppetto live out his days with Pinocchio, the monkey, and Jiminy. Geppetto dies, then Jiminy dies, and while the monkey and Pinocchio are walking to the gravestones to literally put flowers, there's literally the monkey fades away, and then you see the tombstone there because the monkey dies. Then Pinocchio puts the flowers there where the monkey is at. Looks at all the tombstones, smiles, tears up a little bit, walks away. Then you get like a little dialogue from from Jiminy, and that's the movie, man. That's the movie. That is the movie. It is hinted that hey, maybe Pinocchio can die, but the thing is, he has died multiple times, and it's even said that hey, does that even make him a real boy to begin with? And I'm like, I like that. I like that they did that. Even if you're immortal, even if you do die multiple times, does that can still consider you still living? Of course. Because each time you die, life is always precious. So Pinocchio is going to take his life each day, one step at a time. That is how I interpret that shit. That's how I looked at that ending. That ending is fucking great, man. And I'm holding my fucking tears right now because that is how good this movie is, man. This movie's fucking good. I give this movie. I don't think I don't know if of any of my videos I have ever done. I've give things 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, but I never probably gave a 10 out of 10. This movie gets a 10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. This is a must-watch Pinocchio movie. It is better than the original Disney Pinocchio movie. I said that right now. It is. It is. It is. It is. It is. It is. It's better. It is better. You could say that, hey, without the Disney version, we won't have this version. But to be quite honest, if without the book, we won't have the Disney version or this version. And plus, the design, the way Pinocchio looks here, the art style is from a different book of Pinocchio, which looks great. And I want to grab that book. I want to grab that book a while back, but I never got the chance to. But I want to grab that book now to see the difference from that book into the movie because I know they just grabbed the art style and it's different from what the book is. It's basically probably the same thing as the original Pinocchio, just with that art style, which is fine. I don't care. I love that art style of Pinocchio that you see in this movie. It looks great. I love it, to be quite honest. To be quite, when I saw that art style, it reminded me of Tim Burton. And guess what? I mean, Tim Burton didn't do this, but to be quite honest, Guillermo del Toro is like the next best thing, in my opinion. He is. To be quite honest, he gives me that little Tim Burton flair and what is it? You know how sometimes you want sometimes you want to what is it? Get like a snack of the week type shit, stuff like that. That's how I want to feel. Sometimes I want to get that Tim Burton feel, and sometimes when there's something not modern of Tim Burton or something like kaiju, like if there's something not new for Godzilla or anything that I like, basically like modern of Godzilla, then I'll probably watch something from the past or something like that. But if there is something modern, then I'll watch their shit now, or find some director that's actually doing it, which what is Guillermo del Toro is doing. Find directors or people that are actually doing it nowadays and paying homage to the past, basically. So, this is great. This movie is phenomenal. I love this movie. I want this movie on DVD. Can we get this movie on DVD? Can we get this movie on DVD? And by the way, can we get The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance on DVD too, Netflix? Come on. You put The Umbrella Academy on DVD. Put that on DVD too. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Let's do it. Let's do it. Seriously. Seriously. You put Orange in the New Black on DVD too, to be quite honest. But, okay. So that's it, guys. That is it. Watch this movie. Watch this movie. It is a good movie. It is one of the best Pinocchio movies you probably will ever watch. It is the most disturbing and most fucked up Pinocchio movies you will ever watched, to be quite honest. But I don't even want to say it has a happy ending. Does it? I don't want to say it does. It has, what's it called? What's it called, man? I forgot what's it called. Hold on, let me. Bittersweet. That's what it sounds like. It does. That's what it is. It's bittersweet. It's perfect. It's basically tying up like a bow. It's like the people that make this movie understand Pinocchio and understand what it meant. The fact that this movie took 14 years to make, guys. Let me tell you something. You guys might not know this, but I've been following this movie ever since its inception. Okay. This movie was announced back in 2008. I was in with this movie when I heard about it. Then when I heard it got canceled, might not happen, I was so upset. So I gave up. And then when I heard it was coming back and shit like that, I was like, here we go. The hype is back, baby. The hype is back. It wasn't worth the wait, to be quite honest, man. It was. It was. Now, there are a few things that I do have flaws with. No, calm down. Calm down. Hey, I gave it a 10 out of 10. The one thing I have a flaw with this movie is the pacing. The pacing needs to be either. It seems like they want to go fast in some moments, but then want to go slow in other moments. And I'm just like, because they do that. It seems like this movie wants to do that for the sake of getting to one scene to do it nice and slow, or get to another scene to do it nice and fast. And I'm just like, oh, we're doing that? Please stop. You were doing great. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. You don't have to like you're doing. It's almost like the movies know it's doing good, but it's doing too good, and I'm just like, calm down, man. You're doing fine. Just relax, relax. Literally, that's how I was with this movie. I'm like, relax, relax. I know it's been 14 years. Relax. That's how I felt with this movie, man. I'm like, take your time, relax. If you need to go fast, but slow down, slow down. Seriously, man. Sometimes it goes fast, but other times it takes long, and you're like, what? I'm not like, I wasn't looking at my watch or anything like that, but I felt like, oh, it felt like in one moment that you're like, okay, the movie's over. That's it. And then it keeps going, and you're like, oh, okay, it's actually hitting the other beats that's like the original, okay, because you think it's going to do its own thing, which it does, but then it goes to where it hits the beats of like the what Pinocchio, basically. So in a way, when they be like, oh, how they open the scene, you thought you know this Pinocchio story. Oh, you don't. And I thought at first I was like, oh, okay, you're right. I don't know this version of it. Oh, no, I'm right. The only difference is that there was a lot of fucked up shit, and this one is a really good interpretation of it. And there's a interpretation of it that is really, 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 really good, and I like it. Really, I really do. So I highly, highly, highly recommend watching this movie. I know this video went way long as it is, but I have to, man. I have to for the love of this movie and for the love of I have for the book in general and Pinocchio in general. To be quite honest with you, I do because if there's any fairy tale that I if there's any fairy tale fantasy or any fairy tale in general that I like Peter Pan or Alice in Wonderland, or the Grim, like any of the Grim fairy tale books or anything like that, any stuff like that I enjoy, Pinocchio is my one go to. And obviously, Hansel and Gretel is one of also mine too. But if I had to pick Hansel or Pinocchio, it has to be Pinocchio. It has to. I love Hansel and Gretel, but Pinocchio, man, right there. Just right there, man. Literally. It's that good to me. It's that great. And that's why when I look at this movie, it's going to be remembered forever, man. It is. It's going to be fun and remembered for years. It is that good of a movie. Highly recommend it, guys. I've said that plenty of times already, but I don't care. I keep saying it again. Highly recommend, highly recommend, highly recommend. Because it's that good, in my opinion. The stop motion animation is beautiful. Some of the puppetry that they have, if there even is puppetry, is great. Some of the CGI that there is CGI is great, and everything else is great too. The dialogue is great. The character moments are phenomenal, and the music. Not, it is it's not the best parts of the movies, but the musical numbers overall are not bad. And if you look at a picture and you listen to the music of that of the from the movie and look at that picture, I guarantee you instantly will look at that and be like, yeah, that fits. It fits perfectly with the movie, and I feel like I want to watch the movie again. It works. It works. It does. So that's it, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't watched Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, why? Why haven't you? It is a must watch. I highly recommend watching it. You said that already. Stop saying it. I will keep saying it to the end of time, motherfucker. But yo, it's worth it. I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Um, be safe and watch this movie. Really, really watch this movie, man. It's really good. It's so good. So good. It's really good. I'll see you guys. Take care.